What is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the iPhone 11 versus the Bold M1 in 2020. So you guys know I'm a big fan of the Bold M1 and why I would actually go with this phone instead of the iPhone 11. Now I know that the iPhone 11 is a kind of flagship device, a premium device, and the Bold M1 actually has a lot of premium device features for $200. So this video is basically to showcase that and just the price difference and how budget phones are really catching up to these $700 phones. So you can pick the iPhone up for around $650 to $700. The Bold M1, if you want to get it renewed, it'd be $180, $200 for the new one. Now they are running out. I keep getting comments about that. I don't really have any control over that. But they do have the renewed ones, which are pretty much just the same as the new ones, so you can buy those as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about hardware, because this is one of the things that make the Bold M1 a very special device, because it has true premium hardware. So it's all glass and metal design on here, the same as the $700 iPhone 11. So that's why I really love this phone, because it just proves that you can make a phone with really good hardware for cheap. If they can do it, then Samsung should be able to do it. This Galaxy A51, to me, could be a glass and metal phone easily if they wanted to, but that's why I really love the Bold M1, because it is for such a cheap price. So on both these phones you have a dual camera setup, flash. You also have little branding, Bold's branding down here. This is the yellow version, of course, very beautiful. It's got the gold trim on it, really nice. And the Bold M1, and when it hits the light, it actually kind of has a color shift, which I really like. On the right side, you'll find the power button on the iPhone, and on the Bold M1, you'll find the power button and the volume rockers as well. And then when you flip it to the left side, you'll see your mute switch on the iPhone and volume rockers. And you have your SIM tray on the Bold M1. Now when you come down below, you'll see that you have stereo speakers on the iPhone, which the Bold M1 does not have, but you also have a headphone jack on the Bold M1, which the iPhone does not have. You have USB Type-C on the Bold M1 and Apple's charging port, along with your single firing speaker on the Bold M1. So you will be surprised to find out that the Bold M1 actually has a better display than the iPhone if you don't really follow smartphones. So you do get an IPS display on the iPhone at 6.1 inch. It's only a 720p display, and it's really weird that Apple did that. And it also has this really big notch up here. That's where they house the camera and Face ID, which I'm not a big fan of. I've stressed that a whole bunch of times on this channel. Now on the Bold M1, you actually have an AMOLED notchless display. It's a 1080p display, and it's just a really beautiful display, 4.3 for the PPI. And overall, your viewing experience, if you really care about media, it's going to be superior on the Bold M1, hands down. Once you have a full screen phone, it's hard to go back to any type of notch, in my opinion. Maybe you could do the little punch hole, but still, it's just really hard, and it does make a huge difference. You have pretty much the same size bezels. I think the Bold M1 has slimmer bezels on the edge here as well. So overall, just a better viewing experience and overall a better display on the Bold M1 for sure. Now, one thing I praise the iPhone for is having some just excellent speakers. They're dual speakers, and the Bold M1 only has a single speaker, so you'll definitely be able to notice a difference here. I mean, they're some of the best speakers I've heard, maybe besides the Pixel 4, which has some really awesome dual speakers as well. But the Bold M1 does not sound bad. It's just missing that fullness of stereo speakers. On the Bold M1, you have Android 9, and it is supposed to get Android 10, the Helio P70 processor, along with the Mali G72 GPU. Now, you also have 128 gigs of storage and 4 gigs of RAM. You also have micro SD support, which is awesome. So on the iPhone, of course, you have the latest version of iOS 13, and you also do not have micro SD card support. You get 64 gigs, which I think is a ripoff for a $700 phone. I feel like every $700 phone or a premium phone should come with 128 gigs, and you do not have, like I said, that expandable storage 4 gigs of RAM, and they're both very fast phones. I haven't really noticed a big difference when it comes to speed or something like that. So from a $200 phone to a $700 phone, you're not going to see like a huge speed difference here. So if you just go ahead and launch some couple of applications, let me go ahead and clear everything out just to show you that you're not going to be too far off from speed. And let's go ahead, YouTube, 3, 2, 1. Instagram, 3, 2, 1. And then when we get to like a heavier game, then you'll start to see like kind of a difference here. So let's try Call of Duty, 3, 2, 1. Oh wow. It actually beat the iPhone this time. I was not expecting that. Now let's talk about cameras. So on the iPhone you have a 12 megapixel wide, a 12 megapixel ultra wide shoots in 2160p for the video, a 12 megapixel selfie camera also shoots in 2160p. On the Bolden one you have a 16 megapixel standard and a 5 megapixel depth sensor, shoots in 1080p. The pop-up camera is 13 megapixels, shoots in 1080p. So as you can see, the iPhone just shoots in a higher resolution, and it also has a more useful ultra wide camera. The Bold decided to go with the depth sensor, which is one thing I always complain about. So hopefully with the next edition we'll get that ultra wide camera and we'll be able to shoot in 2160p. So you know, obviously for cameras, if you just want a really good camera phone, that's mostly why people go for iPhones. They're being rated to have some of the best cameras, which, you know, I think is debatable. I think the Pixel 4 and even phones like the Note 8 Pro have really good cameras for a cheap price, but the iPhone does have really good pictures. So let's go ahead and just show you some stills. Now in my opinion, they're not too far off from each other. So as you can see from these stills right here, yes, the iPhone is definitely the more detailed and you know, just overall better photo. Is more color accurate under these harsh lights. But the Bolden one does a really good job for $200. Now there is no Gcam port yet, but I think with a Gcam port for the Bolden one, like a real working one, that it'll be a really solid camera. But of course, you know, you're gonna get what you pay for here. And as you can see again with the Funko Pop, as you can see, not too far off, just more detail on the iPhone, as you can see. But definitely a little bit softer on the Bolden one. So like I said, still really good, still really comparable. It's not like it's trash. So that's one of the things I really love about this phone. It's definitely comparable to, you know, some of the best smartphone cameras. So let's talk about getting into the device. So on the iPhone you have face unlock, which works actually very fast, very secure, as we all know, works in the dark, easy. On the Bolden one you have the fingerprint scanner, which works very good. If you do it right, it works 100% all of the time. I never really have any problems with it anymore since the security update. Now on the Bolden one you cannot use face unlock, so the pop-up camera does not work with the face unlock. And on the iPhone you actually do not have a fingerprint scanner, which I think they could have thrown one in there, especially one in the display or somewhere, just in case you don't want to use face unlock. But you know, it is what it is. But they're both great for what they do. Now you do have NFC or Apple Pay on the iPhone to make those mobile payments, and the Bolden one is lacking that feature. You do not have any type of NFC on here for mobile payments, but on the Bolden one you have a 3,500 milliamp battery. It does have 18 watt fast charging and actually 10 watt wireless charging. So if you have a wireless charger, you can charge this up. It's very convenient. If you've never used it, it's a great feature to have, especially in a $200 phone. It's very rare to see that. And also on the iPhone you have a 3,110 milliamp battery, 18 watt fast charging, and you of course have that wireless charging as well. Definitely I think the iPhone has really good battery life, and the Bolden one also has really good battery life as well. To say which one is better, I feel like it's a tie, but I'm gonna do a screen on time on the iPhone, the battery drain test, but I definitely feel like I'm getting a day and a half out of both these devices since I'm a light user. So I know the Bolden 1 can get around 6 hours and 30 minutes, but I'm feeling like I'm getting the same battery life on the iPhone as well. So as you can see, the Bolden 1 can go head to head with the iPhone, no problem. So what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.